Hi, welcome. Welcome to the New Revival Coffeehouse. I'm Peter Fisk. I'm the chair of the Coffeehouse Committee. There's a whole lot of people. Hey, thank you on behalf of the committee. Thank you. There's a whole lot of people working really hard. Some of our regulars are not here tonight, so we got some irregulars helping out. Okay, so our performing artists tonight have been steadily getting attention in the folk and acoustic world. Last month they were on a long tour in Australia, and then they were in Alberta, and then they recently were in North and South Carolina. So we're very glad to welcome them to our stage tonight. Please give a warm welcome to Windborne.
Stand up, boys, let the bosses know. Turn your buckets over, leave your lanterns low. There's fire in our heart and fire in our soul, but there ain't gonna be no fire in the hole. Stand up, boys, let the bosses know. Turn your buckets over, leave your lanterns low. There's fire in our heart and fire in our soul, but there ain't gonna be no fire in the hole. You can tell them in the country, tell them in the town. The miners down in Mingo lay their shovels down. We won't pull another pillar, load another ton, or lift another finger till the union we have won. Stand up, boys, let the bosses know. Turn your buckets over, leave your lanterns low. There's fire in our heart and fire in our soul, but there ain't gonna be no fire in the hole. Well, Daddy died a miner, Grandpa he did too. I'll bet this coal will kill me before my working days are through. I'm in a hole that's dark and dirty, an early grave to find, but I plan to make a union for the ones I leave behind. Stand up, boys, let the bosses know. Turn your buckets over, leave your lanterns low. There's fire in our heart and fire in our soul, but there ain't gonna be no fire in the hole. Sitting high and mighty, they think they got control. They think they got the power 'cause they bought up all the coal. They want us to stand divided, they want for us to fall, but we plan to stick together to make victory for all. Stand up, boys, let the bosses know. Turn your buckets over, leave your lanterns low. There's fire in our heart and fire in our soul, but there ain't gonna be no fire in the hole. Stand up, boys, let the bosses know. Turn your buckets over, leave your lanterns low. There's fire in our heart and fire in our soul, but there ain't gonna be no fire in the hole. No, there ain't gonna be no fire in the hole.
Thank you all so much for being here. It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces in the crowd. As you know, we are Windborne. This is Jeremy, Lynn, Will, and I'm Lauren, and we're so glad to be performing in what's more or less a hometown show for us these days. We're here bringing you music from a variety of countries and cultures with traditions of harmony singing, as well as songs of social struggle from movements of the past, sung for some of the struggles that we see in today's times. And that first piece is a good example of it. It's called Fire in the Hole, and it's a coal miners' union song that we learned from the singing of Hazel Dickens. It was actually written for Hazel Dickens to sing on the soundtrack of a movie called Matewan, but once she gave her voice to it, it sort of became part of the canon of union songs. And because we are close to home and don't have to worry about overhead plane luggage space, we have not one but two banjos here for you tonight. And we'll bring them in right away. This is a song off of our album Lay Around That Shack that we like to say is a hard driving story about hard drinking Corey, whose life goes downhill in a whiskey still. Now, the first sign of her moral decline is when she picks up a banjo and a bottle of moonshine. This is Darlin' Corey.
Wake up, darling Corey. What makes you sleep so sound? The revenue officers are coming, gonna tear your still house down. Go away, darling Corey, quit hanging round my bed. Pretty women run me distracted, pouring liquor's killing me dead. Well, the first time I saw darling Corey, she was standing in the door. Her shoes and her stockings in her hands, and her bare feet on the floor. Well, the next time I saw darling Corey, she was standing by the sea. She had a pistol strapped around her body and a banjo on her knee. Well, last time I saw darling Corey, she had a wine glass in her hand. She was drinking the sweet fizzing liquor with a low-down gambling man. Don't you hear them bluebirds a-singing? Don't you hear that mournful sound? They're preaching Corey's funeral in the lonesome graveyard ground. They go hole in the meadow. They go hole in the cold, cold ground. Go and dig me a hole in the meadow, just to lay darling Corey down. Wake up, darling Corey. What makes you sleep so sound? The revenue officers are coming, gonna tear your still house down.
Thank you so much. We're going to sing for you now a piece of music that comes from the island of Corsica in the Mediterranean. Corsica has this old singing tradition which was almost completely lost in the middle of the 1900s. And it was kept alive by these small groups of guys who would get together and they would rehearse the music for the mass. Corsica had this tradition of music for the mass, which was very specific to Corsica. And in fact, these groups would. There weren't actually enough priests to go around in Corsica's history, so they would go on a circuit of villages. And when the priest wasn't wasn't in a particular village on a particular week, the fraternity, it was called, would just go into the church and just sing the bits, the sung bits of the mass. But after they sang that, then they would go out to the bar and they would sing some other music as well. And that's how the tradition was preserved by these small groups. And what we're actually going to sing now is a piece of religious music. It's a setting of the Stabat Mater text. And if you follow us at all on social media, we got some attention a few years ago for singing this in a particularly resonant hall on the island of Mont Saint-Michel in northern France. And so this is Stabat Mater.
Stabat Mater, Juxta Crucem, lacrimosa, dum pende Filius, cuius animam gementem contristatem per transi Dios, quando corpus morietur facut ani, paradisi gloria. Amen.
I should mention that if you take any photos or videos during the show, please do tag us. We're at Windborne Singers on all of the platforms, and it's nice to see what you're seeing from that perspective and get some of those pictures for us. We're now going to move north from the island of Corsica in the Mediterranean up to the south of France and sing you a song that's not actually in the French language. It's in a minority language called Occitan. If you went back a few hundred years ago, Occitan was what most people would have been speaking in the southern part of what's now France, as well as parts of northern Spain and northern Italy. And today it's only spoken by about 1% of the population, but there's still people doing contemporary work with that language and in those traditions. And this is one such piece written by Laurent Cavalier to protest the proposed construction of a prison in his hometown of Toulouse. And the song says, "There are 9 pieces of charcoal for writing, 9 thoughts for mulling over, written on the walls of 9 prison cells. He who is sound of body will go crazy in prison." And it takes the form of an Occitan counting song, which is a traditional style. They all start at 9. And in each verse, there's one fewer of each of those things as the song descends slowly into madness. It's called Now Carmus.
Now Carbus per scrire. Now pensarus per ministre. Sulla parete now brisu. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. 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 Vet carbus per scrire, vet pensarus per ministre, sulla parente vet prisu. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Sed carbus per scrire, sed pensarus per ministre, sulla parente sed prisu. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Ses carbus per scrire, ses pensarus per ministre, sulla parente ses prisu. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Sin carbus per scrire, sin pensarus per ministre, sulla parente sin prisu. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Tres carbus per scrire, tres pensarus per ministre, sulla parente tres prisu. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Dus carbus per scrire, dos pensarus per ministre, sulla parete dos prisu. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. 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 In carbu per scrire, in a pensare per ministre, sulla parente no prisu. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan. Luces bue benanan, ben kabutu bemichan.
So a lot of the songs that we come to us are from past movements for social struggle, as Lauren mentioned. And that really started with this next song, which is the title track of our first album on that theme, Song on the Times. And we came to this song in like 2015, 2016, as income inequality was rising to sort of the forefront of the conversation in American politics. And that was something that we were thinking about a lot, and we came across this song that comes from the 1840s, and we just felt, wow, this is really talking about stuff that we have in today's world. So we decided to arrange it and to talk about that a little bit, and little did we know that that would sort of lead us on this path of really making that a big part of what we do, and having spent the past many years touring that message and that music around the country and the world. So we're going to sing you that song. It comes from the UK in the 1840s. It's called Song on the Times.
You working men of England, one moment now attend, while I unfold the treatment of the poor upon this land. For nowadays the factory lords have brought the labor low, and daily are contriving plans to prove our overthrow. So arouse, you sons of freedom, the world seems upside down. They scorn the poor man as a thief in country and in town. There's different parts of Ireland, it's true what I do state. There's hundreds more starving, for they can't get food to eat. And if they go unto the rich to ask them for relief, they bang the door all in their face as if they were a thief. So arouse, you sons of freedom, the world seems upside down. They scorn the poor man as a thief in country and in town. Alas, how altered are the times, rich men despise the poor, and pay them off without remorse, quite scornful at the door. And if the man is out of work, his parish pay is small. It's enough to starve himself, his wife, his children, and all. So arouse, you sons of freedom, the world seems upside down. They scorn the poor man as a thief in country and in town. So to conclude and finish these few verses I have made, I hope to see before too long men for their labor paid. Then we'll rejoice with heart and voice and banish our woes. But before we do, old England must pay us what she owes. So arouse, you sons of freedom, the world seems upside down. They scorn the poor man as a thief in country and in town. So arouse, you sons of freedom, the world seems upside down. They scorn the poor man as a thief in country and in town.
So there's been a troubling trend in American politics recently. Well, let's be honest, there's been a lot of troubling trends. But the one I'm talking about is that in state legislatures all over the country, there have been hundreds of bills introduced that severely restrict the rights and freedoms of queer, non-binary, and trans people. So it makes it even more important for us to raise our voices now in support of all the members of our community, no matter where they fall on the spectrums of gender and sexuality. So with that in mind, we're going to sing you a song that's a parody of a piece called The Stuff They Call Money by Big Bill Broonzy. And in our version, we use a rotating cast of narrators to sort of lay out and then poke holes in some of the assumptions and stereotypes that people can have that can be kind of hurtful or harmful. And we also wanted to capture elements of queer joy in the music. So we take the first verse from the original song just to set the scene, and then the rest of the verses are our own. And we're calling our version The Trolley Problem.
Well, I got on the streetcar one day. The conductor put out his hand. He said, "You can't get no free ride here, man. Don't you tears to my eyes. Then inside my head I heard a voice saying, stop that, men don't cry, because you must have
The right kind of
and
feelings,
you must show,
no emotion,
yes you must have.
a stony disposition, or you can't walk out there. Well, the streetcar crashed on the morning ride, so I went to get a scan. On the doctor's form I had to choose check woman,
Or checkmate,
'cause you must be one or the other, and it must match what's down in your pants. You must be one or the other, or we won't see you in here. You're trying so hard to put me in a box that you won't listen to me. I'm just trying to help folks get from point A to point B, and I don't need your opinions about my body. It's none of your business. I just want transportation for all folks around here. So I'll dress and act just how I want when I'm riding that streetcar. Make my desires and speak my truth. We are just who we are, 'cause you must have freedom of expression, and you don't need anyone's permission. You must have a gender revolution, so let's start right here. Let's start right here.
This next song is by a dear friend of ours. It's a more recently composed piece by Zoe Mulford, who is a fantastic singer-songwriter, as you know, who lives part-time in England and part-time in the United States. And we were on a tour in England and France, and Zoe contacted us and said, I just wrote this song, and I really want your harmonies on it, your harmony arrangement on it. So we were able to go to her house in Manchester and spent a whole day, a beautiful day in her sunroom, hashing out the arrangements like we do, which is a very collaborative process for us, and we just sort of make things up and try out a whole bunch of options, and we spent all day trying out all the various options, and quickly, which is very quick for us one day, by the way, like unheard of quick. But you know, we had a timeline, so we managed to arrange it in a day, and the next day we went across the moor to this little recording studio and recorded it, and then we flew home in March of 2020. And we're really glad that we managed to get that arranged and recorded, because that was the last time we sang for a very long time together. And this song took on a lot of new meaning during that time when we weren't able to sing as much. And I mean, it's a really powerful and beautiful song anyway, but as you'll hear, it got more so. This is Zoe Mulford's Songs Stay Sung.
There is an end to everything.
The breath we take and the songs we sing, and the last note rings and dies away, but the song stays sung till the end of days. And all we do may be undone, but love stays loved and song stays sung. Love stays loved and song stays sung. And astronomers could never chart the constellations of the heart, for lovers part and lovers pine, but the love stays
till the end of time.
And
All we do may be undone, but love stays loved and song stays sung. Love stays loved and song stays sung.
and every
And every life is a brief bright spark
That
that dies and seems to leave no mark. So we curse the dark
and we
mourn the flame, but the things it showed us still remain.
and
All we do may be undone, but love stays loved and song stays sung. Love stays loved and song stays sung. And I've been told that we are made of dust cast off when stars decay, and the bodies fade that once were ours, but the dust goes on to make new stars.
and
All we do may be undone, but love stays loved and song stays sung. Love stays loved and song stays sung.
We're going to do one more, and then we'll take an intermission. And during the intermission, we have a table over here with some merch on it. We have T-shirts, we have stickers, and we have 4 CDs there. But it can be a little bit confusing with us because some of our CDs look like books. Because they are books. We just really like writing liner notes, and they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden they were books. And that's our 2 most, but there's CDs inside the books, I should be clear about that. That's our 2 most recent albums, both of them collections of songs of social struggle, one called Of Hard Times and Harmony, the other called Song on the Times. We also have some older CDs. We have one called Midwinter Meeting, which has music from a lot of different places in the world, including some music from Corsica, as well as from Quebec and Basque Country and the Republic of Georgia and a bunch of other places. And we also have our album Lay Around That Shack, which is English and American folk music. And it is where we came up with the absolutely ridiculous idea of having 2 banjos on one song at once. And we also have on that table our mailing list if you want to sign up and hear about Windborne's shows. You can sign up in one of 2 ways. One is by using your phone and scanning the QR code and typing it in yourself. And the other is to play roulette with your handwriting. And use your very best because we have to read that. And if 1 digit is wrong in an email address, it won't work.
I will also just put in a specific suggestion to things that you can do during the intermission, which is that, as some of you know, this show sold out well in advance. We have our next Boston area show on December 15th. It's our Solstice Midwinter Yule show. Tickets, I think, just went on sale like yesterday. So, City Winery, December 15th. Get your tickets early, invite your friends, make a party of it, and don't miss out by booking it late.
Yes, indeed. So our last song for the half is a French-Canadian tune. It's actually a modern folk song written by the incredible Québécois folk band Le Vent du Nord. And yeah, and we wrote, or rather they wrote this song as a protest against fracking. And they used this old story, The Devil and the Farmer. And in this story, the devil and the farmer are having a contest of wits. And the farmer has to read the fine print of the deal he's gotten into and sort of plan everything out carefully so that he can plant just the right vegetables in his field to leave the devil holding nothing. But unfortunately for the farmer, this story is now set in modern times, and the devil has made a lot of friends in the fossil fuel industry. So it goes a little bit differently for him in the end than in the original tale. But we've done a bilingual version of the song so that you can follow along with the story as we sing it. This is Le Diable et le Fermier.
C'est l'histoire d'un diable sautant du doigt des flammes, promettant au fermier de lui laisser son âme.
Our story starts in flame. A devil straight from hell who to a farmer swore to spare his mortal soul.
If he divide and share the harvest he had sown, half and half for each, that's how the deal was drawn.
À chacun sa moitié, c'est une obligation.
Le diable choisit pour que l'entente soit bonne de garder ce qui reste sur la terre à l'automne.
The devil chose his half to sweeten up his whole. He'd take the part that lay above the ground and fall. The farmer he agreed and planted straight away potatoes, carrots, beets, which beneath the ground all lay.
Des patates, des carottes, véritable navet. Oh, 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 with greater bounty.
Oh, 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 là des choses de sa terre. Oh, 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 you got the better deal.
Oh, 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 du diable ou de l'homme.
Condamné molleton, d'échange le butin, le diable maudit, ne lui restait plus rien.
When it was time in fall to divvy up the spoils, the devil's share was not. It caused his blood to boil.
He to the
Farmer said,
I'll not be tricked again, I'll take the half
below.
See how you like it then.
Prenez encore votre ce qui pousse le terrain.
Le fermier accepta et planta 7 pois,
Des tomates, des courgettes, des melons et des pois.
The farmer took the deal and planted all his seeds, tomatoes, squash, and peas, melons, and green beans.
at harvest time. With nothing for him but return to harvest. How the farmer wins again.
Retourne à vers Satan, le fermier triomphant. Oh, oh, oh,
Who'd gamble without knowing?
oh, oh, oh,
sans connaître le marché.
oh, oh, oh,
Who'd fracture their own land.
oh, oh, oh.
La terre de sus et pieds. Le diable respecte sa parole, tu l'as, tu gardes, tu fais. Il viderait le
But
sol.
keeping to his word, the devil turned around. He drained the iron, the gas, and the water from the ground.
Now on that barren land, what can spring up today? Just poisonous leaks of gas, tainted water and decay.
L'ossuaire et les foot de gazon moissonné.
La terre fragilisée, comme ces Québécois condamnés à mourir, le cousin ne font
The
pas.
farmer, like the land, stood shattered and defiled, henceforth condemned to boil the water for his child.
The devil, thus enriched, from land all dry and spent, left to seek new ground, leaving nothing but cement.
Oh, oh, oh,
At the ending of our story,
Chi tu ancora perdi?
oh, 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 sei preso in agire
We're just going to pass our mailing list around if anyone wants to sign up.
Okay. We're going to welcome you back and sing you a song by one of the most prolific composers of American labor song, a man by the name of Joe Hill. And I say American, Joe was born Swedish, and he came over to the US in 1905 as an immigrant, and by 1910 he'd made his way all the way across the country over to Portland, Oregon, where he joined up with the newly formed Industrial Workers of the World, the IWW, sometimes known as the Wobblies. Yeah, we've got some labor history fans in the house. I appreciate that. And the Wobblies, of course, being a prominent labor union of the day, had the enemies that you might expect, these factory bosses and lords of industry who didn't really think much of their workers organizing for better wages and better working conditions and all of that. But they also had some enemies that you might not expect, and one of these was the Salvation Army. And this wasn't just a theoretical opposition. The Salvation Army would send out its marching band to where the IWW was holding rallies and speeches, and the band would march up and down the street in front of the speaker trying to drown them out so they couldn't be heard and they couldn't spread their message and they couldn't recruit any workers. And you're probably sitting there wondering why they were doing this, which is a great question. And it's actually because the Salvation Army believed that the IWW, the Wobblies, was spending too much time organizing people to make life on Earth better, and not enough time thinking about the salvation of their eternal souls. So the speakers would be out there trying to make a speech and talking about the power of collective action and coming together in order to join in union in order to be able to advocate for. No, we don't clap for them. They're the bad ones in this story. I think you've misunderstood. You can see how that would be kind of annoying. However, Joe was a clever guy and a songwriter, and he hatched up a plan. And the next time the Salvation Army came marching down the street with the big bass drum and the long trombone, all the workers burst into song, and they sang right along with all of these old hymns, but of course with new lyrics, making fun of the Salvation Army. And this is a trick that he pulled a number of times, and this is probably his most famous one. It started off as a hymn called In the Sweet By and By, which maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but the gist is, life on earth is hard, but you'll be rewarded in heaven. And Joe said, no, that's not good enough. We need some of that now. And by the time he was done with it, it said, you will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky when you die. That's a lie. That last part, that's the chorus of the song. You can sing along when you pick it up, but if you sing nothing else, that's a lie at the end is definitely your line. And I will say, actually, this is, if you're looking for a little piece of trivia to take home and impress your friends with, this is where the phrase pie in the sky comes from. This is its first usage in the English language. So I always get some joy when people are talking about these like pie in the sky ideas, often, like healthcare and educating our populace, all of these things that are pie in the sky ideas. Really, it was the other way around in the first. So this is The Preacher and the Slave, popularly known as Pie in the Sky by Joe Hill.
You will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on.
die. That's a lie. You will leave by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get by in the sky when you die. That's a lie.
Oh, the Starvation Army, they play, and they sing, and they clap, and they pray,
Till they get all your coin off the drum. Then they tell you when you're on the bum. You will leave by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get by in the sky when you die. That's a lie.
Holy rollers and jumpers come out, and they holler, they jump and they shout. Give your money to Jesus, they say. He will cure all diseases today.
Well, you will leave by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get by in the sky when you die. That's a lie. You will leave by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get by in the sky when you die. That's a lie.
If you fight hard for children and wife, try to get something good in this life. You're a sinner and bad man, they tell.
When you die, you will sure go to hell.
Oh, well,
You will leave by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get by in the sky when you die. That's a lie. Working folk of all countries unite. Side by side we for freedom will fight. When the world and its wealth we have gained, to the rich we will sing this refrain. You will lead by and by when you've learned how to cook and to fry. Chop some wood will do you good. There's no pie in the sky when you die. You will lead by and by when you've learned how to cook and to fry. Chop some wood will do you good. There's no pie in the sky when you die. There's no pie in the sky when you die. There's just sky.
Great singing, everyone. Well, we'll sing you a piece now off our album, Song on the Times. It's what we sort of like to think of as the greatest hit off of that album. And it's a song that has a really special place in our history as a group. We've known each other since we were teenagers and have been singing together as friends for many years. But for a long time, Windborne was just something, a part-time thing, a kind of side project that fit in around all of the other things that we were doing with our lives. And that changed for us in a pretty big way around our album, Song on the Times. And we were working on that in 2016, 2017, and if you can kind of think back to what was going on in American political history at that time, we had this collection of protest music from the past sung for the present day, and we were down in New York City for a gig and said, you know what we need to do with all of these old songs is go sing some of them outside of a particularly shiny gold tower there on Fifth Avenue. So that's what we did, and we took a little selfie video of this next piece, and it ended up going viral, and people started writing to us from all over the country saying, when are you coming to our area? We really need music like this right now. And it was that sort of community outpouring of support that inspired us to put aside all the other things that we were doing with our lives and make Windborne our full-time occupation, which is what we've been doing ever since. So, thank you. So that fateful piece was called Song of the Lower Classes. It also comes from the UK in the 1830s and 40s from the Chartist movement, which was a working class movement for basic rights of democracy. And it's a piece that has inspired many people over the years to add verses to it, including ourselves. And this particular version of the melody is by Ian Robb. So this is Song of the Lower Classes.
We plow and sow, we are so low that we delve in the dirty clay, till we bless the plain with golden grain and the vale with the fragrant hay. Our place we know, we are so low down at the landlord's feet. We're not too low the bread to grow, but too low the bread to eat. We're low, we are so low, yet from our fingers glide the silken flow and the robes that glow round the limbs of the sons of pride. And what we get and what we give, we know and we know our share. We're not too low the cloth to weave, but too low the cloth to wear. Down, down we go, we are so low to the hell of the deep sunk mine. But we gather the proudest gems that glow when the crown of the despot shines. Whenever he lacks upon our backs fresh loads he deigns to lay, we're far too low to vote the tax, but not too low to pay. We're low as to war we go to fight some foreign country that was yesterday our greatest friend, but today's our enemy. God bless our boys, the papers scream, praise and the churchmen cry. When the war is won and home we come, who cares if we live or die? We're low, so low into boats we go to flee war in our home country. And we'll try to make a better life when we land across the sea. But if send them back, the press cries out, back to where they came. We're far too low to feed and clothe, but not too low to blame. We are so low, but soon we know that the low folk will arise. The tyrants in their towers of gold shall hear the people's cries. No more shall they hold us in thrall, their lies we will not heed. But every heart shall hear the call, and the people will be free.
In 1931, Harlan County, Kentucky was filled with a very intense, bloody war, which started as a strike and became a war, the Harlan County Coal Wars. this conflict between the workers, the unionized workers of the coal company, and then the bosses of the coal company who hired strike breakers and paid off law enforcement, and this became this just protracted, bloody conflict. And a woman named Florence Reese wrote this song. One night, she was home, and the sheriff, of a man named by the name of J.H. Blair, who you hear about in the song, who was in the pocket of the coal company, came to her house looking to assassinate her husband, Sam, for his involvement in the union. Luckily, Sam wasn't home that night, but the sheriff and his men stayed there all night and ransacked the house, and Florence was there terrified with her children all night. When they finally left, she was so angry in the morning that she tore a page off the calendar and wrote this song on the back. And this has become one of the more well-known union protest songs. Florence taught it to Pete Seeger, who, of course, taught it to a fair number of people. And this is one of those songs that we continue to hear at protests today. It's a very easy chorus, and it's easy to make it about any subject. We've heard it with lots of different lyrics being changed for whatever the moment calls for. But we have actually the original words that Florence Reese wrote about this specific conflict. So this is our version of Which Side Are You On?
Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Come all you good workers, good news to you I'll tell, of how that good old union has come in here to dwell. Oh, which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? My daddy was a miner, and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the union till every battle's won. Oh, which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a union man or a thug for J.H. Blair. Oh, which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab, or will you lend side are you working for the union? Which side are you on now? Which side are you gonna
Which
stand?
side?
Which side are you on now? Which side are you
Which
on?
side are you on?
Which side are you on
now?
now? Which side are you
Which side? Which side? Which side?
Which
Which
side
side?
are you
Which side?
on now? Which side are you
on?
Which side?
Which
Which
side
side
are you on? Are you on?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on?
Before we sing our next piece, we want to take a moment to recognize and appreciate a community that's been really important to us in the last several years, and that's been our Patreon community. How many of you have heard of Patreon before? A good number of folks. If you haven't, it's an online platform where regular people can become small-scale patrons of the arts. The way it works is you choose a monthly donation that fits your budget, and in return, we send you what we like to think of as the Windborne CSA box. It's all of the latest songs that we're growing, the works in progress, the stories about how we take a song from that sort of seed of a melody and grow it into what you see on stage. And it also is where we're releasing a lot of the music that isn't making it onto our CDs right now, songs that we've recorded but don't have a place on one of our albums yet, like Songs Stay Sung that we did in the first half. And the other sort of really important but less talked about part of it is that Patreon gives us as musicians a stable and predictable income, which in the hustle of the music industry is a pretty important thing. So if that sounds like something that you'd like to be part of, we'd love to welcome you into that community at patreon.com/Windborne, or you can find a link to it on our website, windbornesingers.com. But we'll sing you a song now that is recorded on one of our albums, off of our album Lay Around That Shack. It's a song about the American Gold Rush called Can't Stay in These Diggins. And we like to say it's about a song about, oh geez, I messed up the line. You say the line now. I can't do it.
Well, you know, the thing about the American Gold Rush is it didn't pan out so well for everyone. I've literally never gotten applause for that line before.
Not worth applause.
With any luck, you never will again.
Well, I pitched my tent on this campground a few days. Give old Satan another round, and I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings. And I am going home. Although I've liked the diggings here, few days, I won't stay here another year, and I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings, and I am going home. For years I've labored in cold ground, a few days, but now at last I'm homeward bound, and I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings, and I am going home. I'm going home to stay a while. Few days, before I go, I'll plant a smile, and I am going home. not trust.
Few days.
And with me take my little dust, and
I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings. And I am going home.
Well, my mother, she has gone before.
Few days.
I'll meet her soon at glory's door.
I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings. And I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings. And I am going home.
So I'll pitch my tent on this campground.
Few days.
And give old Satan another round. And
I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings. And I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings. And I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings. And I am going home.
It's the moment you've all been waiting for, both banjos on the same song. This is a song that comes from the era of the Spanish Civil War in the 1930s. And even though that was a domestic conflict within Spain, there was a group of fighters from all over the world that traveled to Spain to join in the fight against fascism. And they were called the 15th Brigade, or La Quince Brigada. And one of the soldiers in that group took an old Spanish folk song and, in keeping with the folk tradition, wrote new lyrics for it. And he taught that song to Pete Seeger, who again taught it to many thousands of people all over the world. And it's a song that has a really powerful anti-fascist message. It says things like, our only wish is to take down fascism, or we fight against the fascists, the mercenaries, and the traitors. But it's a song that also, the final verse is particularly poignant in that it says, now we're leaving Spain to fight on other fronts. And it reminds us that the fight against fascism is not one of the past, it's one of the present, and one that we all must be part of going into the future. So this is Viva la Quince Brigada.
Viva la Quince Brigada, rumba la rumba la rumba la, que sea cubierto de gloria, ay Manuela, ay Manuela. Que sea cubierto de gloria, ay Manuela, ay Manuela. Luchamos contra los traidores, rumba la rumba la rumba la. Luchamos contra los traidores, rumba la rumba la rumba la. Mercenarios y fascistas, ay Manuela, ay Manuela. Mercenarios y fascistas, ay Manuela, ay Manuela.
salimos de España, rumba, 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 la. Ya salimos de España, rumba, 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 la. Por luchar en otros frentes, ay Manuela, ay Manuela. Por luchar en otros frentes, ay Manuela, ay Manuela. Viva la 15 Brigada, rumba, 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 la. Viva la 15 Brigada, rumba, 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 la. Que sea cubierto de gloria, ay Manuela, ay Manuela. Que sea cubierto de gloria, ay Manuela, ay Manuela.
So when we were putting together the text of the book that accompanies our most recent project of Hard Times and Harmony, we spent a lot of time talking about those issues that we were singing about and our place in the world and our place as artists and our just place as human beings. And in those discussions, we kept coming back to this question, this tension, as to how does one meaningfully spend one's time in life? And on one hand, making sure that we're spending our time and energy fighting for what is good and just and right in the world. And on the other hand, making sure that we're not neglecting to live our beautiful, unique lives and find the moments that make life worth living within that. And as we started talking about that, we came to this realization that in a world where overwhelm is used as a tool to make us feel disconnected and to make us feel helpless, that finding those moments of connection and transcendence can be radical acts. Whether that's going into the natural world and connecting with that and yourself and the reason that we fight for the environment, or whether it's being with community and laughing together or singing together with a group of friends, all of these things can be both transcendent and radical acts. And we can't just be in that place of finding transcendence. It's not about just pleasure seeking. The whole reason that we fight for what is just and good in the world is that all people should have access and freedom and ability and resources to find those moments for themselves, whatever those moments for themselves might be. But in a way, those two sides of that question start to become one, and we chose to finish that album with this next song because it really speaks to both parts of that. It's by the late, great Phil Oakes, and it's called When I'm Gone.
There's no place in this world where I'll belong when I'm gone. And I won't know the right from the wrong when I'm gone. You won't find me singing on this song when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. And I won't breathe the bracing air when I'm gone. And I can't even worry about my cares when I'm gone. I won't be asked to do my share when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. And I won't be running from the rain when I'm gone. And I can't even suffer from the pain when I'm gone. Can't say who's to praise and who's to blame when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. I won't see the golden of the sun when I'm gone. The evenings and the mornings will be one when I'm gone. Can't be singing louder than and the guns when I'm gone, so I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here.
All my
Days won't be dances of delight when I'm gone. The sands will be shifting from my sight when I'm gone. Can't add my name into the fight when I'm gone, so I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here.
I won't be laughing at the lies when I'm gone. I can't question how or when or why when I'm gone.
Can't live proud enough to die when I'm gone, so I guess I'll have to do it while
There's no
I'm
place
here.
in this world where all belong when I'm gone. And I won't know the right from the wrong when I'm gone.
You won't find me singing on this song when I'm gone, so I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here.
Thank you all so much. We have one more song for you this evening, but before we sing that, we wanted to say a big thank you to Scott on sound and all the wonderful, incredible volunteers and organizers who make this happen. Coffee houses like this really run on lots and lots of hours of volunteer work, and we really appreciate that. It really could. We just get to show up and sing, and all the folks have been here doing so much work. But we also wanted to say an incredible thank you to all of you. You know, the last 4 years have really shown us all, I think, what a precious and precarious thing live performance really is, and we feel so very lucky and grateful to be able to be back doing it, and we really couldn't do it without all of you, so thank you so much for being here. Our last song is another song from the south of France in the Occitan language, another counting song. This one is called No Guyatas, which means 9 girls. And it says that there are 9 girls in the village of Castelnau, and they want to dance. And there are also some boys there, and they're kind of over in the corner in the shadows, trying hard not to be seen because they don't want to dance. The next verse says that there are 8 girls in the village of Castelnau who want to dance, and there are also some boys there who don't want to dance. And then the next verse says that there are 7 girls you can sort of see where this is going. It's a song of attrition, and by the end of the song, all the girls have left in frustration, and the boys are sort of still hiding. We like to think of it as the Occitan equivalent of a middle school dance. But thank you all so very much. It's really been a pleasure to sing for you this evening, and this is No Guyatas. No guyatas a Castelnau, no guyatas a Castelnau.
No guyatas a Castelnau, no guyatas a Castelnau.
En los que burlaron danza, en los guyatas que cerculumbre.
En los que burlaron danza, en los guyatas que volan pa.
Guyatas a Castelnau, guyatas a Castelnau.
Guyatas a Castelnau,
Guyatas a Castelnau.
En los que burlaron danza, en los guyatas que cerculumbre.
En los que burlaron danza, en los guyatas que volan pa. En los que burlaron danza, en los guyatas que cerculumbre. En los que burlaron danza, en los guyatas que volan pa.
Guyatas a Castelnau, Guyatas a Castelnau.
Set guyatas a Castelnau, set guyatas a Castelnau. En los que burlaron danza, en los guyatas que cerculumbre. En los que burlaron danza, en los guyatas que volan pa. En los que burlaron danza, en los guyatas que cerculumbre. En los que burlaron danza, en los guyatas que volan pa.
Guyatas a Castelnau, guyatas a Castelnau.
Guyatas a Castelnau, guyatas a Castelnau.
En los que burlaron danza,
En los guyatas que cerculumbre. En los que burlaron danza, en los guyatas que volan Casteno, Shinguyatasa Casteno, Shinguyatasa Casteno, Shinguyatasa Casteno, Elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que ser culumbre, elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que voluntad, elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que ser culumbre, elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que voluntad, tres cuyatasa Casteno, tres cuyatasa Casteno, tres cuyatasa Casteno, elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que ser culumbre, elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que voluntad, elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que ser culumbre, elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que voluntad. Dos cuyatasa Casteno, dos cuyatasa Casteno, dos cuyatasa Casteno, elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que ser culumbre, elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que voluntad, elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que ser culumbre, elos que pueden danzar, elos cuyats que voluntad. Yo cuyata Casteno, yo cuyata Casteno, yo cuyata Casteno, yo cuyata Casteno, elo que voglio danzar, elos cuyats que ser culumbre, elo que voglio danzar, elos cuyats que voluntad, elo que voglio danzar, elos cuyats que ser culumbre, elo que voglio danzar, elos cuyats que voluntad, just a cuyatasa Casteno.
They always put the audience between us and the exit. I don't know what that's about.
We do have one more song we could sing. This is a piece that originally comes from England, from the lead mining industry, and it was called 4 pence a day, talking about the starvation wages that the lead miners faced, and their really dismal working conditions. And we found a version of the melody by a group called Cross of the Hands that we really loved, but we've rewritten all of the lyrics to be about sort of similar issues, but in an industry that's a little bit closer to home for us.
My father was a folk musician. He used to sell LPs, cassette tapes in the 1980s, and later on CDs. I told him I'd take up his trade, but he looked at me to say, it's very hard to work for just 0.4 cents a play. 0.4 cents a play, my friends, just 0.4 cents a play. It's very hard to work for just 0.4 cents a play. He said back in the good old days, the lines would all be long. As people queued to buy CDs, they formed a joyous throng. But now the music's all online, for discs they will not pay. My darling child, the times have changed, that's how it is today. For now they put the CDs down, and with a curious eye, they ask the dreaded question then, are you on Spotify? And with a sigh we answer yes, but this we'd rather say, it's very hard to work for just 0.4 cents a play. 0.4 cents a play, my friends, just 0.4 cents a play. It's very hard to work for just 0.4 cents a play. At the cafe just down the street, they roast a tasty bean. I order up a cappuccino, it costs 1,000 streams. And if I want to pay my rent, I'm very sad to say, it costs 250,000 streams at 0.4 cents a play. 0.4 cents a play, my friends, just 0.4 cents a play. It costs 250,000 streams at 0.4 cents a play. I have not come to tell you all that streaming songs is bad. In fact, I sometimes stream some music while hanging out with Dad. But if I love an artist's songs for their CD, I'll pay, 'cause I know how hard it is to work for 0.4 cents a play. 0.4 cents a play, my friends, just 0.4 cents a play, 'cause I know how hard it is to work for 0.4 cents a play. 0.4 cents a play, my friends, just 0.4 cents a play. So support musicians because they're worth more than 0.4 cents a play.
Thanks for coming out and supporting live music. Get home safe, come chat with us, and we'll see you next time.
Wow.